Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Night Always Comes. And this is a new crime thriller coming to you from director Benjamin Caron, who previously worked on films like Sharper, which he directed, and was a director on Andor, The Crown, Sherlock. And this film stars Vanessa Kirby, and risking everything to secure a future for herself and her brother, Lynette sets out on a dangerous odyssey confronting her own dark past over the course of one propulsive night. And this film, just from a thriller perspective, I think Caron does such a great job of ratcheting up that tension and really delivering an impactful and unnerving experience throughout this film. There's plenty of good set pieces that set up really uncomfortable scenarios, and between the direction and the balance of tones, this is a pretty dour film, and it really puts that pressure in. And the cinematography from Damian Garcia is precise and very well put together, and you have this propulsive editing from Jan Miles, and Caron just pulls it all together and delivers this heightened tension and suspense. There's some situations where you're just like, oh, please don't do this. And it just puts you on edge, stuck in this situation. And Adam Janota Zalski, who is the composer, the score is really effective and reinforcing that tension and suspense and intense moments throughout the film, and it really comes together from just a filmmaking perspective. This film's really effective. And from a writing perspective, I feel like this film, it dabbles into some really dark elements, and Lynette has some really bad trauma and baggage that she brings along. I do feel like after a while the film does get a little repetitive, and this is pushing 2 hours. I feel like some of these stops along the way, like you could have stopped like a stop or two before the film gets to its climax and end, and not everything was 100% necessary to continue the story, but they were able to find some intense and very emotionally impactful elements to inject into the story. I think how the film navigates Lynette's backstory and her trauma, and like she meets up with a man who's in her life, played by Michael Kelly, who just, that sequence brings so much up to the surface, and it's really uncomfortable and really challenges you as an audience, along with challenging Lynette to process all these horrible things that happen to her. I think the dynamic between her brother Kenny, played by Zach Gottsagen, is really effective. It's tender, it's beautiful. I think the mother character, Doreen, is written in such a broad stroke kind of way, and just everything is absolutely terrible about her, and it makes it a little less interesting, but the character works in context, and I think that has to do with the performance, which I'll get to in a minute. But narratively, I feel like it just feels a little too drawn out, but it also feels like it doesn't quite hit as deep as it could at times. But it still has plenty of weight and emotion along the way, and how it all comes together feels really convenient at times, and doesn't necessarily 100% feel narratively satisfying by the time the credits roll. But then you have Kirby, who delivers this very strong, complex, layered performance where she's trying to hide these more toxic aspects of herself that keep boiling up to the surface and coming out. I think Jennifer Jason Leigh, who plays her mother, is incredible. With the material, she feels so authentic and impactful. Gottsagen is so endearing in this role and brings so much empathy to Kenny, which is an important piece of the film. You have some people she meets along the way, like Stephen James as Cody. I think Stephen James gives a really fine performance, and he has this shift gears at times throughout the film. And there's some really powerful moments. Randall Park plays like this really rich guy that she tries to get money off of, and because they're trying to, it's so frustrating because they're trying to get money to save their house, and the mother, Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, wasted on a brand new car. And so the whole entire crux of the movie is over the course of this night, Lynette's trying to raise this money. And Randall Park's one of the ones that she goes to first. And I struggled a little bit to take him seriously in the type of role this is. Julia Fox is there as one of her friends, feels very authentic to the character she's playing. I think Michael Kelly stands out in the sequence that he's a part of in the film. And just in general, I think the cast is really effective and add layers to this experience. But overall, it's not perfectly executed. It doesn't feel 100% satisfying narratively. But there's elements of this film that really work, really drive it home, and just bring a whole just big bit of emotion along the way and an intensity from the direction and all the filmmaking aspects. So from that experience, it delivers. It might not fully hit from a thematic or a narrative standpoint at all times, and it might feel a little stretched out, but it delivers through its performances and its sleek direction that really captures the darkness and the challenges of this life that you find Lynette in, and Kirby just kills it anchoring this whole thing down. But those are my thoughts on Night Always Comes. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.